Eileen Brown was unable to make the trip. Eileen Wingfield will accept in behalf of her as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening and greetings from Australia. My name's Rebecca Bear Wingfield and my mother has asked me to speak on her behalf. I'm very emotional. I'd like to firstly thank Richard Goldman and his family and the amazing hospitality that we have both experienced since we have arrived in the United States. I'd like to share a quote of my mother's, and excuse me if I'm terribly moved. This is a very emotional journey. It's an emotional journey for a number of reasons. This award is a testimony to the strength, the amazing capacity of my mother to survive some horrendous incidents in her life. 4 of her children were removed, they were stolen. I was then placed with a non-Aboriginal family. My mother has kept going. The quote that I'd like to share with you this evening articulates for me my mother's tenacity, her understanding of the global world, and why she was honoured and is a recipient of the Goldman Environmental Prize. And I quote, "When they went up there to let the bomb off, nobody knew anything about it. The old people, they didn't know. Even, I don't think the station owners knew about it. They are doing the same thing here at Roxby. They want to come here and dig a hole and say that they're not going to hurt anyone. But we've been through that. This is our country. We know sites everywhere that are part of it, and we are worried." And I'd like to draw your attention to 3 key dates. The first one is the 15th of October, 1953. That was the date of the first atmospheric explosion at a place called Emu Junction. My mother was a young mother with my older sister Marlene, and they didn't know about the bomb. Nobody knew. They just saw the rain cloud come across and they stood under it and they didn't really know. The second occasion I'd like to draw your attention to is about 20 years ago when they were planning to establish a uranium mine at Western Mining's Roxby Olympic Dam site, not far from where we live. My mother camped out bush with all the children and my late uncle. They spoke publicly about their concerns about the establishment of this uranium mine. They protested. My mother, and I think this is the most amazing part, she laid down in front of the bulldozers. And still they didn't want to listen. Then in 1998, and I'd like to share this bit, I learned you don't drive old ladies to meetings. Because Mum said, "Will you drive me to the gym?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." When we arrived, she said, "I'd like you to help." Because Mum and the other senior women had written a letter saying, "Dear Greenies, we found out about a waste dump being planned for the Billacalina region in South Australia. And we want your help." And they just sent it by fax. They just sent it randomly. And guess what? The Greenies came. And that was in 1998. And why I think my mother is amazing is, yeah, she is my mother, but she has an extraordinary journey. She's an extraordinary woman, and she's been doing this for nearly 50 years, which will be, I think, an amazing achievement. And I'm really honoured to be able to offer these comments, and I'm so honoured to be following behind my mother and the other Kungas. And we'd also like to say that we know Mrs. Brown could not come tonight, but she is so excited about this award, and so are all the other Kungajudas. And we're going to still keep battling, and we're going to plan to have a big blockade of the bridge when we get back in October, because they're not going to bring the waste back. Thank you.